Hi, and welcome back to my channel where I'm going to cover additional customization options for the Druid class that were introduced in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. I know that I've stated this before, but with D&D being a role-playing game, the overall idea is that while you're playing your character, you are taking on their persona and acting as they would and should. The customizations we will be covering in this video allow you to enhance your playing experience for the Druid class by giving you additional avenues to customize your character and provide more detail about them, thus linking a little bit more review to their persona. D&D does this in a very prompt, friendly way by providing you some examples that you can make use of directly or use them to creatively come up with your own ideas. The Druidic customizations include things like a treasured item, information on where your character would pull their guiding aspects from, and who their mentor was initially. With the introduction of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, there are some new tables that provide these examples and potential points of inspiration that you can use to add these details to your character. Now, I've explained in previous videos how you can gain access to the tables in question, but the best approach really is to access them directly from the Xanathar's Guide to Everything's version of the class sheet, in this case for the Druid. So let's get right into the tables themselves, with the first one being around the treasured item. And if you've not already picked up on the pattern, you will find that each of these classes generally has something like this as an option, though not all of them do. In the case of a druid, these are items that mean something specific to something from their past or represent some spiritual aspect of their life. These items will be something tangible that could go missing, and as you might have heard me say before, you'll understand that it could mean it could also be lost or stolen, which is a really good segue into some form of side adventure. The item or items you choose should have a detailed history added to their description, as it could inspire the DM to be able to craft some form of adventure around that item, making it more significant to your character, thereby also making the adventure far more enjoyable to you. And it's also a very good way for making you feel a little bit more included in the overall scope of the campaign. So let's use this as an example for a treasured item. I'm just going to simply take this first one. The best place for this is going to be stored in the inventory, and you can simply drag and drop it directly onto it. You could roll and then drag and drop that item into your inventory, or you can manually create a new item. Really, it comes down to whatever you want to do. But then I would highly recommend you open up that item, and this is where you're going to want to add in the details, specifically the description of the item down here in the bottom. Once you've got that done, simply lock it again, and everything will show up as you would normally expect to see in an item sheet, kind of like something like this. Although this doesn't really have a description. But you get the point. The second table can be looked at as a way to give your character meaning. It is used to help you formulate what your character sees in something and what it inspires your character to be able to do. Once again, the table provides a number of examples, and they can be used directly or as a source of inspiration for your own creativity. And the connotations of the guiding aspect does not always have to be positive. It's entirely up to you. But really the best kind of location for this is going to be in your character's personality traits section, because it's kind of why your character became a druid and what keeps them going in the direction of maintaining that druid class and leveling through it and progressing through it and skilling up in it, kind of thing. So that really ties directly into your character's personality, but it can be as detailed or as non so detailed as you want it to be. The last table is around the mentor, who was very heavily involved in shaping your character's early development as a druid, but not necessarily your character's early years as a youth, unless you choose them to be aligned in some way. The examples here should give you an idea as to what the general option is trying to accomplish. And as we've said before, you can use these directly or as a means to inspire your own thoughts on a mentor for your character. A really good location for this kind of information would be in the notes section of your notes tab here, because it's going to give you a little bit of room to come up with a very detailed or little detailed as a description as you want. I will suggest, though, that if you offer more details here, maybe the DM can craft some form of side quest or side adventure that would be related to that mentor, and maybe you have to go rescue them or go through and maybe they're dying and they wanted you to be there at their bedside, that kind of thing. So it comes down to entirely the level of creativity you want to put into it, but I do state the more you put in, the more you'll get out. And that brings us to the end of the tables, and I love that Xanathars adds more customizations that you can make use of and give your character a more personal storyline that a DM could make use of for their own side quest adventures to link these particular quests and campaigns that they create into something that's a little bit more personal to you. And in general, it really is another way to make the game feel a lot more inclusive overall. Not all DMs are going to do this though. Some will just stick with the overall campaign that they're running you through, but a good number will make use of the character details and try to craft a more personal element into it for you and your character. But that does bring us to the end of this particular video, and I want to thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I wish to thank you for taking the time to watch this particular video. I hope you found it informative and useful to familiarizing yourself with Fantasy Grounds in general, and that you had fun in the process. If you found the video useful and you liked the content of the particular video, go ahead and click that like button to let me know. And if you have any questions specific to the topic covered by this particular video, or just have some comments in general, please feel free to post something in the comments section, and I will do my best to respond to any questions that are asked. Additionally, I do release content quite regularly, and it's generally specific to Fantasy Grounds or 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons at this time. So if you'd like to be notified when new videos come out, go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell to ensure that notification is sent to you when I release a new video.